I'm going to start on time. My name is David Snyder. Welcome to NLP Power / All Things San Diego / NLP Today / whatever. Tonight's adventure into the art and science of love and romance, called Renegade Romance, rapid attraction secrets for dating, mating, and relating. If you hear me use that word hypnotic throughout the course of the night, realize it's not necessarily a mistake. You see, when we talk about states, and we talk about things like love and attraction and intimacy and connection and commitment, what we're really talking about are states. States have two primary components. They have a level of absorption in what's going on, or the object, the target of the state, and a continually narrowing focus of attention. Anybody here ever have someone that they just were gaga over? Were you like really absorbed in all the different things you could think about doing with them? Did you often find yourself daydreaming? That's called a trance. Love is a trance. Love is a trance. Now, as a hypnotist, that's a really interesting field of study for me, because it's those states that we don't think of, or those states that we go through every single day, that we don't think of as trances that run our lives. The truth of the matter is, there's no such thing as hypnosis, because because everything is hypnosis. All hypnosis is, ladies and gentlemen, is a process. A process that takes you from whatever state you're in at this moment to another one. So when the hot guy walking down the street walks by you, you've just been hypnotized. When the hot chick walks across your field of vision, you've been hypnotized. Sorry, did I say that? I'm sorry. By the way, a couple of housekeeping things tonight. People will continue to funnel in. I love this topic, probably more than any other topic I've ever taught. I've been teaching this stuff for a long time. And because of that, I tend to get excited. I tend to just keep going on and on and on with all this information. So sometimes one of these seminars can be like sipping from a fire hose. So I apologize in advance if you right around 8:30 your ears start bleeding. You guys are taking yourselves way too seriously. Should see you from my perspective. Housekeeping. First of all, several rules. A, if you have to go, come on up. It's all right. You're going to get good stuff. I promise. Okay. If I forget to give you a break, or you guys feel like you need one, like your bladder's about to pick up and leave town, just raise your hand and say, "Can we have a break, please?" Right? If not, just clean it up when you're done. Right? But if you really do need to go, get up and go. You won't bother me. If you need a sudden dose of caffeination, there's lots of coffee and even more chocolate. Trust me, if you can't find love, you can find chocolate. They're very, very similar. We'll get into that a little bit later. But eat as much as you want. Seriously, we got tons. And honestly, one of the things that we do at NLP Power is we're all about practical stuff. Stuff that you come in, you learn it, and you can use it tomorrow. And we're also about change. Changing ourselves so that we become the kind of people who can be, do, and have the life we want the way we want it. One of the fastest ways that we can begin to change people, you can begin to change your mind, change your body, change every aspect of your life, is through a principle that our nervous system runs on called neuroplasticity. How many people here who have not been to one of my workshops before, because there's always a ringer going, "I know the answer, I know the answer." How many people here have ever heard the term neuroplasticity? Okay, neuroplasticity is a really long, drawn-out word that basically means the speed at which your nervous system and the cells in your brain rewire themselves. How rapidly you learn and how deeply and how powerfully those neurons stick together. There's an old saying that the neurons that wire together or fire together, wire together. And that's mostly true. The problem is that as we get older, our neuroplasticity according to some experts, tends to decrease. We tend to become more locked into our ways and our old ways of thinking. However, through specific techniques and the modulation of specific substances, we can actually reactivate the brain's and the nervous system's ability to change. The hormone, the substance in our body that actually causes that to happen is called oxytocin. Now, some of you may have heard that word before. There's actually a company online now selling necklaces with the oxytocin molecule. Okay? Now, the interesting thing about oxytocin is it's the primary neurotransmitter that creates love, or the feelings of love in our bodies. It's also the primary hormone when a mother is actually, an expectant mother is getting ready to give birth, she begins to lactate. Oxytocin is actually the mediator that creates that transformation. It is the primary hormone that governs pair bonding between a mother and a child, between a man and a woman, between best friends. It is the single biggest indicator of how much we trust someone. The more oxytocin you can trigger in a person's system, the more trust they have for you. But there's another side to oxytocin. Oxytocin also has the unique ability to amplify neuroplasticity. In enough doses over a long enough period of time, if you can imagine the nerves in you ever hear when I say chicken wire? You guys know what chicken wire is? Okay. Well, if you don't, then just imagine some little chain link fence. But you got this little chicken wire lattice work that we call a brain, right? And these nerves are firing and they're crisscrossing, doing that, and the other thing. In the presence of enough oxytocin, or love, passion, joy, laughter, body starts pumping up that oxytocin. It's like taking a little blowtorch and just softening up all that wire. And then it becomes very easy to shape. It tends to take on whatever shape of the situations we find ourselves in. Right? And then when it hardens, it has a new shape and it has a new configuration. Oxytocin, among all the other neurotransmitters in our body, has that unique capacity to take old behaviors, old habits, old beliefs, and overwrite them. How many people have ever seen somebody fall completely in love and totally change their lifestyle? Mm-hmm. Welcome to the wonderful world of neurologically induced trance, or biochemically induced trance, right? Now, my job here is to teach you, but it's also to change you. And I fully claim the right to use as many dirty, evil, nasty, honest tricks as possible to help you change so that you become the person who can have the life you want the way you want it. One of those ways is I'm going to do everything in my power to shock you, delight you, and saturate your system with oxytocin. Now, one of the most powerful, unstoppable ways to saturate the system with oxytocin is to give you hour after hour of unrelenting orgasm. That's not going to happen tonight. Another way to do it is to hold somebody, be held for 20 minutes. A little logistically not efficient. We could be laughing for 20 minutes. Or the more we laugh, the more oxytocin we release. We'll work on that one. Or we can eat lots and lots of chocolate. I can control that, right? One of the problems that we have when we come to workshops like this especially is that we're all serious. We're all taking ourselves way too fucking seriously, which brings us back to housekeeping. A, if politically incorrect language or colorful metaphors or swear words offend you, there's the fucking door. This means yes. This means no. There will be a test. This means I know the answer. This means I don't. This means, oh shit, I hope he doesn't ask me that. If I do bring anybody up for a demo, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. If you do agree to come up, it is assumed that you have permission to have your lovely mug appear on YouTube and get really good stuff programmed into you. Anybody here want really good stuff programmed into them? Okay, we're going to have a really friggin' long night. Why are you here? Why are you here? Real quick. You with the cool hat on. What are you here for? What do you want to not you, the other one. See, 2 hats right in a row. You, sir. What do you want to take home tonight? What do you want to get out tonight?
Learning where to meet and how to
Where to meet? Look around you.
make better relationships.
Make better relationships? Okay, so you're interested in relationships, so you've already gone past the meeting and attracting part. You're kind of in the relationship phase?
No.
No? Okay. That's an editorial question. I'm just trying to get an idea. See, I have a ton of stuff. Ton of stuff that I could throw at you. But what I want to do is I want to make sure that the information I have to give you is targeted. I mean, make sure that it's relevant to what you want. So I'm just going to spot check people. The lovely lady with the beautiful hat on, I thought I was talking to her first.
How about laryngitis? It's hard for me to answer.
Make it easier. I'm interested in your presentation style.
Oh, okay. Very cool. My presentation style. I'll send you the
That
notes.
was a very good example.
Because like I started the evening with, standing up here is weird for me. Because for 3 or 4 years, this is where I stood. And I fought going up there because I don't like being disconnected. I don't like distance between me and my audience. Right? So throughout the night, I'll be like a little yo-yo bouncing up and down and things like that. Okay? What we're going to do tonight, a couple more, and then I'm just going to jump into what I had planned, and then we'll see where the night takes us. You young lady, what do you want to take home tonight? What do you want to get out of tonight?
Just to learn to be more open.
Be more open?
Connect with the other person.
Connect with another person? Very cool. How about you, sir?
Connect to people.
Connect to people? Awesome. I have super glue. How about you? You dissed me. You ducked out of the front row. What do you want to take home tonight?
Okay, how to meet, attract, and keep.
Meet, attract, and keep. I kind of put that in the blurb, didn't I? Very cool.
That's what I'm here for.
All right, baby. How many people here want to be met, attracted, and kept? Raise your hands. All right. Mostly female, a couple of guys. All right. Guys going, just feed me, rub my belly, I'm good. Leaders going, put the fucking toilet seat lid down, damn it. But anyway. How about you? What do you want to get out tonight? Yes, I'm asking you. I'm like, he's talking to me.
I like the meet, attract, and keep,
Okay.
but also enhance the relationships that I have.
Very cool. And when you say relationships, I'm assuming they are not platonic or are platonic?
Some are platonic.
Or D, all of the above? Okay. Notice she said some are. I'm a neuro-linguistic programmer. I know what your language means. I'm trained to sort for crap, or not crap, but for, good, we're laughing. Thank God. You see, that's the problem. That's one of the reasons why most of us are dramatically single. Dramatically. Guys, when it comes to attracting, remember that word, dramatic. Okay, women love emotional spikes. That's why they date jerks. It's very true. It's very true. When you go and guys, when you're out there and you're talking to a woman and you're telling her everything about yourself and you're just leading off the laundry list, she's going, oh, that's nice. Right? You're telling her all, your job, where you're going, what you're doing, and she's going, that's nice. She's smiling, she's nodding. You think you're having a great time. You're getting more and more attracted to her by the minute. She's trying to figure out a way not to gnaw her arm off to get away from you. Which is why by the end of the first date, most of the time, guys, you're pretty attracted, and she's gone. Okay? We're going to invert that formula. We're going to teach both genders tonight how to be the most fascinating person in the room. And when you figure out how easy that is, it's going to shock and disturb you, which is okay. Because shocking and disturbing is what I like to do. Keeps you on your toes. One of the reasons you'll hear me swear and use profanity tonight is because shock and disturb you. But why is it useful in terms of presenting? It's because I'm not talking to the part of your brain that thinks. I'm talking to the part of your brain that feels and acts. It's called your paleocortex or your reptile brain. You have 3 brains. You know this, right? Okay. The mating drives come from the reptile brain, which is why when we're out on a date and we read off the laundry list and pull out the slide rule and spreadsheet that gives all the logical reasons why we're a great person, they run. Because the part of you that gets attracted is your reptile, your paleocortex. Okay? There's your brainstem. There's your paleocortex. Now, once the paleocortex gets stimulated, it does something cool. It talks to the next level of your brain. Now, the messages are going two different directions. It's going into the limbic system, which is your emotional brain. Okay? But it's also traveling down the spinal cord. The messages and the impulses are going south, ladies and gentlemen. And when the meat gets excited, logic goes out the window. Okay? There's a book that has nothing to do with romance and everything to do with tapping into the reptile brain. It's called, ironically, Reptile. It was a book written by lawyers for lawyers that teaches attorneys, specifically personal injury attorneys, how to present to judges and juries in a way that stimulates the reptile brain. And they're winning billions of dollars in judgments because of it. If a bunch of money-hungry, not money-hungry, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. If a bunch of very aggressive, highly paid influence professionals are tapping into the reptile, why not you? For a different direction. It's the same target for a different direction. The reptile brain, your paleocortex, is what the Soviet sports psychologist thought, is in charge of survival, it's in charge of reproduction, food, and anything that meets these two. These are the two prime directives. Okay? But it's also your reptile brain that will cause you to do the most weird things to avoid being rejected or kicked out of the group. You see, because the reptile brain is in charge of fight or flight, it starts to sort the world differently. And we'll talk about social status later on this evening. But one of the things you need to understand is that to the reptile brain, which is only concerned with surviving, that's the guys, and moving the genes forward. Actually, I'm sorry, surviving is the women. Moving the genes forward is the men. Because your genes don't go to heaven. The genes stay here. Now, the interesting thing that happens is, adaptively speaking, evolutionarily speaking, rejection or ostracization from the group is equivalent to extinction at the reptilian level. And so, one of the things that we are both, men and women, are trained, programmed, hardwired at the neurological level to sort for is social status. Men seek it to gain it. Women seek to ally with it. Okay? Now, as cultures differ, social status has different parameters. When we were evolving, when we crawled out of the ocean, it was the biggest, the strongest, not necessarily the nicest. It was the biggest, the strongest, the one with the access to the most resources that had the highest survival potential. Over millions of years of evolution, ladies, your neurology was trained to sort for that. Over the eons, subtleties evolved that let you know when somebody had high survival potential. Most people would not think of a sense of humor as being an indication of high survival potential. We've evolved, right? But here's how. You see, sense of humor, not so much. Intelligence. The more intelligent the creature, the more likely it is to survive, right? Well, guess what? Sense of humor is a direct indicator of intelligence. And so when you go to see these stand-up comedians who are just a little below rock stars in terms of getting laid, it's the oxytocin dump, it's the laughter, it's the release. I haven't met a dumb comedian yet. I met someone who played dumb. I keep thinking of Emo Williams. Or Emo Phillips. You guys know who Emo Phillips is? He was big back, most of you guys are too young to remember that shit, right? But he was this comedian back in the 80s, and he would come, he would, this long coat, had this really long hair, looked like an emaciated Tiny Tim from the 70s. You know. Tiptoe through the tulips. Okay, that one fell flat. All right. So, but he would come up and he would say, you know, I used to think that the brain was the most fascinating organ in the body. And then I thought, well, look who's telling me that. The part of your brain that does that is the neocortex. The neocortex, literally, new layer, is your rational, lying brain. And when I say it lies, I mean it doesn't just lie to the people around you, it lies to you. Your brain lies to you. Okay, I'm a hypnotist, I'm a hypnotherapist. I'll give you my pedigree in a minute. My daughter likes to call it my laundry list of overachievement. But one of the things that happens, I'm a hypnotist, people come in, they tell me what their problem is, they tell me what they want to achieve. We open the hood, we go back to deal with the problem, we wind up fixing something completely different than what came out of their mouth 10 minutes earlier. Why? Because anything that stimulates the reptile brain is going to either be pleasure generating or pleasure seeking, or it's going to be pain seeking or pain away from. Okay? When a pearl is formed, we see a pearl necklace, we see a pearl jewelry, and we just, oh, that's such a beautiful pearl. You know how we get pearls? From a pissed off oyster. Right? Little grain of sand. You got the oyster here. I'm a horrible artist. You got the little irritant, little piece of sand that's pissing off the oyster. It's irritating them. So what does the oyster do? He coats it with some weird substance. And he keeps coating it, and it gets smoother and shinier. Until eventually we have this beautiful pearl. That started off as something that was irritating something else. Your brain works very, very similar. Okay? Remember, when we're talking about the reptile brain, and it's going to be relevant as we go through tonight, everything that your brain sorts for is either going to be moving towards pleasure or away from pain. The system's a little bit hardwired towards pain, though. Pain is more adaptive. Okay? It tends to get us moving more. But what happens, let's say we see a hot woman, hot guy, and we want to meet that person, but we can't just go up and say, hey, would you like to mate? Yeah, it screwed me up for decades. Made me wake up in really weird places, too. But so what really happens there is we have a primal drive that wants to be satisfied. Right? Now, understand, I'm going to bounce back and forth between feelings, or emotions rather, and feelings. Your primal drives are feelings, but they are not emotions. They are drives. They are things that are the foundation of, you're an animal. Okay? I'm sorry. Get over it. Ladies, you're an animal too. Embrace your inner lizard. But what happens is our reptile brain gets stimulated. We meet something that meets our criteria to enhance our survival or reproductive potential, what have you. The reptile brain generates a series of emotions. It sends a message to your emotional brain. Now, prior to the advent of civilization, beating somebody over the head who had a woman that you wanted, that was okay. We have laws now. We have social and cultural rules that have to be followed, etiquette that has to be followed. And we have to, at the very least, give the appearance of following them. Or what does society do to us? You, out of the gene pool. Right? Casts us out, locks us behind bars, does weird things to us. So the emotional brain wants something. It has a feeling of love, attraction, whatever. Really, it's that mating urge. Sends a message up to the neocortex. Says, hey, we got some itching down here that needs scratching. Figure it out. And the interesting part about your neocortex, it's the part of you that thinks in words. It's the part of you that really focuses on facts, data, the boring stuff. But what your neocortex will in fact do, it will begin to generate a story. It will begin to tweak how you pay attention to your world around you, so that you begin to form a rationale that allows you to justify acting on those drives and emotions in a way that is A, acceptable to you, and B, acceptable to the cultural group that you are a part of. And that's where things start to get messed up a little bit, because there's a big gap in our education. There's a big gap in how to actually go up and talk to somebody and generate attraction. Okay? We're both genders are on the short end of the stick. It's just a slightly weirder stick. Okay? But this is the interesting part, is I'm going to wax into my Darth Snyder days before I get into my pedigree. Most of you don't know, well, some of you do, but back in 2004, 2005, I launched my first information product. It was called Secret Orgasm Tips. It was a system that I had developed for me that taught men how to pay attention to a woman in such a way that he could literally become her ideal fantasy lover the very first night they're together. Okay? It was massively unfair. Worked like a charm. Didn't make it for you guys. I did it for me, right? Because I'm a big problem solver for my life. Why is that important? Because every one of you is carrying around a checklist. You have a checklist for everything you do in your life. Ladies, pay attention. Gentlemen, watch the ladies. Because then I'm going to pick on you in a minute. Ladies, if you met a man who said exactly the right thing in exactly the way you always fantasized about it, who could touch you in the places that you always wanted to be touched in exactly the way you wanted to be touched, only when you wanted to be touched, who could kiss you in a way that sent shivers up and down your spine, in a way you always fantasized the perfect kiss should be. If you could meet a guy who could make love to you in the way that you've always imagined, what would you do for that guy? Gentlemen, look around you. Okay? That's the checklist. Each and every woman is unique, but not that much. What do I mean by that? You all have a nervous system. You're all human beings with a pulse, but you all use it a little bit different, right? If I looked at the apps on your iPhone, I'm pretty sure some of you would have some apps, some of you would have other apps, some of you wouldn't have any apps. We put those in a different room. But my point is, though, each and every one of you have what we call criteria and values. Criteria and values is a neuro-linguistic term that is an emotion connected to a label, connected to a series of phenomena or attributes, the checklist. So when we talk about somebody who's experiencing love, connection, intimacy, arousal, pleasure, fulfillment, those are what NLP likes to call nominalizations. It's a word or label that has been taken from a process linguistically into a noun. In other words, when we say fulfillment, there's a process underlying how we become fulfilled and how we know the situation we're in is either fulfilling or not. Does that make sense? This means yes, this means no. Each and every one of you, man or woman, there's no exception, has a set of criteria and value for every single thing you do in your life. Everything that's in your life either matches that criteria and value checklist or it doesn't. People cannot go against those criteria and values without experiencing emotional pain. Okay? You with me so far? Here's the problem, or one of them anyway. We all move through the world thinking we all have the same checklist. So the guy moves through the world, meets a girl who finally consents to go out with him, and does everything he would do if he wanted to get excited, he does to her. Or he does what the culture has programmed him to do, most of which doesn't usually work either. Okay? You see, that checklist governs our lives. It governs how we perceive things. It governs the actions and the behaviors that we take. On a functional level, I'm going to give you the real simple rule, and then we're going to build on it. And I want you to just utilize this as a way to kind of see the matrix. We instinctively do unto everyone around us the way we want to be done unto. What's your name, sir?
Ross.
Ross. If I go up and I shake Ross's hand, right? There's a certain way he just shook my hand. If I understand how to pay attention to Ross in a whole new way and I shake his hand, that felt better than just a moment ago. Because that's how he shook my hand.
Hands are cold.
My hands are cold, yeah. So are we. Our nervous systems are always on the lookout for us. We're moving through the world looking for a match between my checklist and your checklist and my checklist. That's how we go. And we make everybody wrong when they don't match. This happens completely outside of conscious awareness. It was programmed into you without your consent, without your understanding, or without your knowledge. Now, the beautiful part is if you can get outside of your own head and put your own drives a little lower on the totem pole for a few moments and pay attention to the person in front of you properly, they will give you all of the information that you need to know to meet their criteria, generate attraction, link it to you, and take them to places they've only ever fantasized about. Because it's already there. But they're not going to tell it to you consciously. Okay? What do I mean by that? A woman will touch you how and where she wants to be touched, when she wants to be touched. She will kiss you unconsciously, exactly the way she wants to be kissed, when she wants to be kissed. When you kiss a girl or a woman, I know ladies, you want to be women. It's more fun to be girls though. All right? Girls just want to have fun. No? Shit. The stick's coming back. Okay. We're going to get back to that whole playfulness thing, okay? Because if you don't understand that, every time you put your dating profile up on Match.com or Plenty of Fish, you're lying to everybody, which is why you never find the guys you want. When you're with a woman, and ladies, it works just the same. You guys are just better at it than men, so they need more help. It's true. We're dumb as rocks. Trust me, I'm one of them. But if you can pay attention to the person you're with long enough to do back to them what they've just done with you in the precise order and sequence that they do it, you will perfectly match their internal checklist. Look, the ladies are already going, right? You're like bobbleheads back there, right? You will match their internal checklist. The barriers to intimacy will drop. They will become hyper-aroused, hyper-connected, and hyper-predisposed to being intimate with you in as little as 20 minutes. Now, I said in as little. That's if you're rushing. We don't do that, okay? But what I do mean is and when we talk about these methods or these techniques or these principles, we're not doing anything unethical. We're not doing anything deceptive or misleading. In fact, guys, the kind of connection that you will be generating with your women will be the exact kind of connection they have been fantasizing about all their lives. If you're in a relationship, if you take this material back to your relationship and you start applying it, your relationship will dramatically change. But you got to be willing to do something different. The first rule in David's world, pay attention. You need to pay attention to women the way women pay attention to you. Anybody here, any guy here ever have a girlfriend? I have a wife, so that kind of goes a little bit deeper. Guys, you ever notice that your girlfriends remember every fucking thing that ever happened to you? It's like you told them about a story that happened when you were 2, they remember it better than you do. You can't remember when you told it to you, but they can recite it verbatim. Why? See? Because they're paying attention. The ladies are going, fuck, how does he know this shit? right? I have a wife who is brilliant, like really brilliant. Right? She had a PhD in biochemistry before she went to chiropractic school. And then she started studying acupuncture while she was at chiropractic school. She was the valedictorian in both simultaneously. I have no idea. The only reason that I got married to this woman, A, was because I'm really suggestible. And she's a better hypnotist than I am. But she's an amazing woman. Truly is. I mean, really. I mean, she went and did her acupuncture exam for Chinese medicine out in Sacramento. And it's a 200-question exam, and they're not easy questions. She came back and recalled verbatim 80 of them and gave them to the school so they could study for the exam. Not a stupid woman. Okay? And trust me, she has a memory. I've seen supercomputers that didn't have this kind of memory, okay? And she remembers stuff, and women will. They will, because first of all, the neurochemicals in their brain work a little bit different. They have more oxytocin going on than we do most of the time, okay? Remember, oxytocin, memory, learning, right? Ladies, you want to keep a man around? Match his criteria, match his values, and then have a little bit of doubt as to whether you're going to hang around. And they will move heaven and earth to make sure you're happy. What do I mean by that? Now, I keep talking about this whole thing, criteria and values, but there's another way that we can begin to talk about keeping somebody, attracting somebody, and all points in between. Identity, which is where all our problems start. You see, the building blocks of your identity, your self-concept, are your criteria and values. They're the checklist that determine what you want, how you know you're getting it, and whether you deserve it or not. All right? When we're going to introduce you, I'm going to start with what I call the 7 stages, because normally when I do these workshops, whether it's flirting for fun and profit, which is all about flirting and being playful and cool stuff, which is where we need to start. Okay? We need to get the sticks out of our butt and have some friggin' fun. Okay? Because I guarantee you, if you can't be playful, if you can't have fun, you're not going to attract people. Okay? You can pump iron all day long. You can kick heavy bags and punch stuff and be macho. Macho, strong like bull. But if at the end of the day, the person you're seeking to attract is not experiencing fun. I met this guy today. He was interesting. You'd make a great friend. Dong. Kiss of death, right? My point is, we've got to get that. We've got to start being playful. We've got to get out of this, oh my God, they're going to reject me. We've got to stop playing this crap in our heads. We've got to have fun, right? I'll show you how to have fun really quick. Everybody stand up. Now, look around you. Pay attention to anyone who has a pulse. Reach out your hand. Hold them by the hand. Whether my hands are cold or not doesn't matter. Look in the eye and go, boo! Boo! Good. Look to somebody, read it to your right or left. Reach out your hand. Boo! And keep doing it until you feel more than silly. Very nice. Good, now. Good. Now eat lots of chocolate. Good. Why do I do that? A, to prove, first of all, that I can, in fact, make people do things against their will. But also, we need to get our bodies involved. If you want to be able to tap into those feelings of playfulness, those feelings of confidence, that ability to just walk up to somebody and introduce yourself, you got to get your meat suit under control. Okay? There's a great TED Talk. It's called Power Poses by Amy Cuddy. Go and watch it. Yes, we have some survivors, right? Your physiology, your posture, your breathing rate affects your psycho-emotional state. Okay? How many people here have ever had a really good time? Raise your hand. Cool. All right, we're getting there. I want you to close your eyes. That means close your eyes, motherfuckers. You can always tell who's not going to get anything out of the workshop Because I say, do this, and they go. It's a participatory workshop. If you don't do the drills, I can't give you the skills. Okay? The secret to being attractive is not how you dress. The secret to being attractive is the feelings you install and create in other people. The fastest way to transfer a feeling into another human being is to have the feeling yourself. The fastest way to have of any feeling you want is to change the way your body is positioned. Your psycho-emotional state is directly connected to your physiology, your posture, your breathing weight, and your weight placement. Okay? In a few minutes, I'll show you the difference between symmetry, asymmetry, and you'll be laughing your asses off, and you won't know why. Okay? Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Think of a time in your life when you felt amazing, when you felt large and in charge. Maybe it was something you saw, you decided you wanted it, you decided you were going to get it no matter what, you put a plan into operation, you put the plan into action, and you nailed it. Here's what I want you to do. Two things. First of all, I want you to point to where in your body you have that feeling. Just physically point to it. Good. With your other hand, reach out, touch the picture floating in the space around you, connected to that feeling. Take both of your hands, trace the edges of it. Grab the edges of it. Open it like an app on your iPhone. Make it as big as an IMAX movie theater screen. Notice what happens to the feeling in your body. Some of you are going, oh my God. Some of you are going, I think he's full of shit. Now here's what I want you to do. Shrink it down, size of a postage stamp. What happened to the feeling? You don't have to tell me, just answer it to yourself. Yep. Now, open it up to its normal size. Pull it closer to your body. What happened to the feeling? I'm betting it got stronger for most of you. Put it back to where it was. Lift it up over your head. Expand it to the size of a really big beach towel. Pull it down around you like a blanket. Notice what happens to the feeling. What happened? She's like, got good, didn't it? Take it up, hold it up over your head, just for grins and giggles. Imagine you could just throw it back behind you over the horizon. Sorry for you people in the back row, you're going to get clobbered. Right? What happened to the feeling? Gone. How the hell did I know that? Because I understand how your nervous system codes experience. Reach back, grab that image. Put it out in front of you. Now here's what I want you to do. Make it as big as you can stand. Bring it as close to your body as you want to feel good. And leave it there. Damn. So, we got a lichen in the room. Woohoo! All right. Now, while you're immersed in that feeling, step into it. Physically or mentally or emotionally, step into it. See what you saw. Hear what you heard. Feel what you felt. Stand. You too, puppy. Stand the way you were standing. Breathe the way you were breathing. Now, without changing anything, not how you breathe, not how you stand, not where your weight is placed, without changing anything physically, try to feel bad. Notice you can't do it. Now go back to feeling good and double it. That's where we start. Now I want you to remember a time in your life when you were absolutely hedonistic, pleasure-seeking. You didn't give a rat's patootie about anything. You were just having a good time. You didn't care about tomorrow. Point to where you feel that. Cool. Ooh, some of you guys are getting weird over there. Reach out and touch the picture. Trace it with both of your hands. Expand it. Woohoo! Notice how good that, sorry about that. I'm going to break some glasses in the next room. Notice how good that feels. Move it out. Make it as big as an IMAX movie theater screen. Bring it close to your body. Wrap it around you. How's that feel? Now, step into it. See what you saw, hear what you heard, feel what you felt. Let those feelings come flooding back. Stand the way you were standing. Breathe the way you were breathing. And let yourself just feel good. Some of you may notice you're yawning. That's because your emotions are changing and releasing. That's okay. Let it. That wasn't a suggestion, by the way. But this is how quickly we can feel good on demand. You want to change your brain? Learn how to feel good for no fucking reason. This is how you do it. Change your posture. Change the size and shape of the pictures. Change your relationship to them. The fastest way to become attractive to another human being is to give them the feelings they want. The fastest way to give them the feelings they want is to generate them in yourself first. Okay? Want to be more charismatic? How many people know who Marilyn Monroe was? Or Bill Clinton? Have a seat. Take those good feelings with you. Be playful with it. This is where you start. This is where you start. You don't get out, you don't leave the house in the morning from now on without putting on your playful underwear. And I won't ask what kind of underoos you have on. Oh shit. Right? My point is, there are states in our life that are what we call end states. There are things we feel after we've accomplished something. Like happy. People say, I just want to be happy. If all you want to do is be happy, you might be happy sitting on the couch eating Haagen-Dazs. What does that do for your life? But there are states that lead to happiness that get shit done. First one I teach in my classes is playful. You got to be playful. Okay? Guys, how many people here have ever done any kind of internet dating? Raise your hands. The rest of you are lying, but that's okay. Ladies, how many of you have ever done any internet dating? Let's see if this matches any of your experience. You go to somebody's profile, they say, I want someone who's thrifty, courageous, kind, obedient, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. You send them to the Boy Scouts of America page, right? Okay. Or woman says, I want a guy who's, a self-starter, fit, good job, good cook, has read Nietzsche and likes it. Yeah, exactly. And he must love dogs. Right? And you look at that picture, you look at that photo, that hot picture, which is usually 5 or 6 years out of date. And I'm being... You type out that email that says, hey, I'm courageous, courteous, kind, loyal, thrifty, obedient, brave, clean, and reverent, and I love dogs. Let's get together. And she goes, next. Was it because of your picture? Maybe. But let's say you got past the first filter. Here's the problem. You just basically sent her the same email every motherfucker on the planet for the past 6 months has been sending her. So you're just like everybody else. Guess what? Women don't want everybody else. What are they trained to sort for? What are they trained to sort for, guys?
Status, survival.
Status, survival. Okay, social status. Are people with a good sense of humor usually higher on the social status agenda or lower? Are they usually more intelligent or dumber? Okay. Now, remember, you may be the 20th email she's opened that day. She's got no attention span whatsoever. Okay? Unless you're the next Brad Pitt and you're wearing a thong, probably not going to do much, right? But if the first thing she reads makes her laugh, makes her smile, guess what she's likely to do with that email? She might actually read it. Because you're interesting. When you read a woman's profile, and largely guys are sorting differently, so we're going to get a little bit gender specific. When you read a woman's profile and you see that laundry list of someone who's trustworthy, who's honest, loves kids, doesn't mind a dog, she's lying to you. That's not the real list. Because she left one off. Fun. None of those things matter until the woman experiences fun with you. True, ladies, true or not true? True. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Anyway, sorry, Elvis was one of my idols. So I may at some point lapse into a very bad Elvis impersonation. I got the belly for it. But So remember, playful in most social contexts, leads to charisma. It leads to attention. So one of the things you need to begin to cultivate in your life is a sense of outrageousness, but it starts with playful. When you go out on a date, don't go out on a date with the objective of getting laid. Hello. And here's why. Here's the strategy. When you take sex off the table and you're playful and you follow the protocols I'm going to teach you, they'll put it back on. Remember that little information course I told you I created back in 2005? 2005, I was also voted one of the top 10 pickup and attraction artists of the year by seductionlayer.com and Art of Approaching. Because, well, there was lots of reasons. But none of it had to do with actually my ability to go out and meet women. It was actually my ability to attract and cause them to fall deeply in love with me and make them want to make love to me on the very first night we were out. Okay? It's not about going out and putting notches in your belt. There's lots of people who try to teach you to go out there and meet a woman. But can you make her want to stay around? Can you keep her? Right? When you match a woman's criteria and values, when they're experiencing the right mix of emotions with you, they'll decide. Remember, most of the time, as much as we like to think we're alpha this and alpha that, 60% of all attraction, 60% of all meetups or approaches are initiated by women. Probably didn't know that, did you? I thought I was the one picking up. No. You see, they're very sneaky about it. An entire woman's life is built on subtlety, which is where the problem starts. You see, men and women both have issues about approaching, but they're very different. You see, a woman, guys, for you guys gotta understand this. A woman wants you to come and talk to her. She does. She really does. The problem is she's afraid that she's going to get somebody to come up, somebody's going to come up and talk to her that she can't get away from. Why? Because we're dumb. What do I mean by that? Very simple. Now, ladies, you need to understand how the other gender thinks. I love this when I have co-ed workshops because I say something, the women laugh, and my guy's like, huh, what? I say something, the men laugh, and the men are like, huh? You're both projecting your world maps onto the other gender and making them wrong because they're doing it their way. You need to understand how to translate. Okay? You both want the same thing. In fact, guys, women want sex more than you do. Amen! He's speaking our song. Can I have an amen, brothers and sisters? Amen. Yes. We have a different meetup for that shit, though. But anyway. I primed the reptile brain again, yeah. Okay, here's the thing. Guys, see if this resonates with you. You see a woman somewhere. And you think, she's cute. I'm going to go talk to her. Ah, fuck, she's probably not interested anyway. Okay? What happens? We see someone that is attractive to us. Now, remember, I said there's this thing called hypnosis or breastnosis. An attractive woman will throw a man into an altered state of consciousness like that. Okay? Women also a little bit more control. Got to know what to look for because their art is subtle. Yours ain't. That's the problem. Because you're looking for them to give you the cues you would give if you were turned on by somebody. Okay? You're looking for them to let you know one way or another if they're attracted or not, the way you would let somebody know if you were attracted or not. The problem, ladies, is your shit's too subtle. You see, you have very advanced, the average woman has very advanced social skills, social awareness. When a bunch of women are hanging out and it's time for the conversation to end, they all know it. The guy's going, what the fuck? I'm alone. Because they didn't get it. Ladies, you don't realize. They can't perceive what you're sending. Only women can see what you're sending. Which is why they never leave. Because you're not given the training in how to extricate yourself from an interaction that's going south. You have these subtle things that the women do. Then you have this big gap. And then you have bitch, which is usually what the guy is what the guy winds up with, because they didn't get everything else. From your perspective, you nailed them with everything but the kitchen sink. And now you got to reach out and rip out the plumbing to get him to leave. Or pretend to be interested, so he'll give you his phone number and you can get away. Right? So your social remediation has to be in developing a series of less subtle cues that let them know the interaction is either not going the direction that they would hope, or distracts them or deters them in a way that saves their self-esteem. See, that's the problem. Most ladies I know don't want to be a bitch. They don't want to be the asshole. But we don't give them much choice because we don't pick up the signals. So it's partially their fault. But guys, it's their fault. But it's not your fault because your parents can't teach you what they don't know. Right? So what we want to be, and there's a couple of really cool, Annie Lala is probably one of the better female dating coaches. It brings this out. And she talks about, different things that you can say at different levels of the interaction, depending on how socially aware and adept the person you're dealing with is. But that's the biggest fear, guys. See, they do want to meet you, but they're afraid to meet you. They're afraid to meet you because they're afraid of getting into an interaction they can't get out of. Make sense? Doesn't make sense to us, because we'll just hit them over the head, right? Someone's bothering us, we'll punch them in the nose, we'll go home. Well, their socialization is a little bit more subtle than that. Guys, our problem's a little bit different. Okay? And by the way, I'm on your side, guys. I know, I am. Here's another problem, ladies. The social skills that you were taught to attract a man pretty much guarantees that you'll only attract the men that are going to make your life miserable. You know why? She's nodding because she's been to my workshops. See, by and large, we're taught these things called the rules, right? We're taught, don't make eye contact with people you're attracted to, only make eye contact with people you're not. Right? Play hard to get. Problem is, we don't really understand what that means. Playing hard to get does not mean unapproachable. And here's why that's important. How many ladies here want a guy who is all the heroic things they think about, but is also respecting of your boundaries? Right? How many people here regularly get approached by people who just don't give a shit? That's what happens when you create that hard-to-get, unapproachable energy. All the men who actually would respect your boundaries won't approach you. Because that's what you're telling them. But the ones who don't care, the pickup artists, the ones who are trying to be alpha, the sociopaths, the narcissists, oh, they'll come to you like gangbusters because they don't care. Okay? These are not my words. These are what the female dating coaches are teaching me. Okay? I don't make the rules, I just report them. I steal from everyone. Okay? But so the question becomes, how do we bridge this gap? Hey, guys, realize she wants you to come talk to her. But we've got to learn to pay attention. We got to learn how they think so we can put ourselves in their place long enough to know what to do when. Ladies, same thing. 60% of all approaches are initiated by women. 90% of men never realize it. You know why? Because a woman doesn't walk up to you and say, and the weird part is, a woman did that to most of us guys, we'd go, I wonder what she meant by that. But what a woman will do is she will give you an opportunity to engage. She will give you an opportunity to approach. You're sitting at a bookstore reading your favorite Popular Mechanic, Sports Illustrated, bikini model, I don't know, bikini edition, I don't know. Not that I do that, right? That was the test, you missed it. Okay. And what will happen is you'll be standing there reading your shit being a technical term, secret hypnotic influence techniques. And this woman will just kind of go, la, 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 la. Strike one. Strike two. Pardon me. Strike three. And he's like, yeah, Miss Nancy. Women, guys, you're on the playground, you're 5 years old. You're over here playing kickball with your friends. Gaggle of girlies over here doing weird things. Hopscotch, playing dress up, whatever. And then little Susie goes, boys are icky! And leaves. Our hapless hero goes, ow. She must hate me. She walked 100 yards across a playground to tap you on the shoulder, look you in the eye, kick you in the shin, and say, boys are icky. Guys, you ever been in a room with a woman who really didn't like you? You ever notice that the room gets really cold? And it feels, wherever she's standing, there's like a vacuum there. It's like, you could be standing here, she's standing here, this woman you don't like, and you can feel, it's like there's this emptiness there, right? Here's what you need to know. Women do not acknowledge men they do not like. They will find a way, either physically, metaphorically, to remove you from their environment. Oh my God, he read the manual. Took me a little while to figure that out. About a year ago. No. Anytime you get attention from a woman, more often than not, it's a test. I call it the shot across the bow. She's testing to see if you're going to man up and play. If you man up and play, the game is on. You want to see what I'm talking about? Look at just about any television show on the planet, from Castle to Moonlighting. Okay? That bickering you see going back and forth, that's called drama. Who watches those shows? Hey? Why do you think they watch those shows? Drama! The emotional spikes, the ups and downs, the playfulness. This is where identity comes in, because we don't know at 4 and 7 and 8 years old what the hell we don't know. One of two things happens when little Susie does this. Boys are icky. The average person goes, I must really suck. The natural says, well, girls suck too. And now it's on. Guess who gets to go to the prom? Right? One of the funniest examples of this, and I'd been practicing this for myself for a number of years, but I was with some friends out in, I think it was Ontario, California. We went into a mall. And I walk in, and this woman, I'm dressed as a pirate, by the way, because I do weird things like that. Give me some time, I'll tell you about my adventures as Captain Jack the Acupuncturist. It's really quite fun. But I walk in, and this woman behind the counter, cute girl, goes, she gives some cocky ass remark, makes some weird statement, some snarky, right? Now the average guy would say, bitch. But my twisted brain says, ooh, she wants to play. Because she does. Because she does. There's that word again. Play. Flirting for Fun and Profit is a workshop we do here. It's all about, does flirting make you feel good even if nothing happens from it?
Yes.
Fucking be that person, man. Flirts get a lot of shit for free. Because they make people feel good about them. Either because of the way the person is and because of how that person feels about being flirted with. Now, the other problem you got to understand about for ladies is just like on Match.com, when they read your email, that's the 50th email that said exactly the same frickin' thing they've heard for the last 6 months. Well, guess what? Even a woman who on an attractiveness scale is a 3 or 4 gets approached an unreasonable amount of time. Hell, zeros get approached an unreasonable amount of time compared to the average guy. Now, you guys get actually a lot uglier than you realize, but a lot more attractive than you can begin to imagine, because you can't calibrate attraction. You can't tell when a woman's into you unless she does go. Okay? We're going to work on that. We're going to work on that. First of all, both genders. Anytime you look at somebody and they're not stoned, you see their pupils go boing, they're into you. Can't hide it. Okay? And there's all kinds of good science behind it. The bigger their pupils get, the more attractive they become, or are becoming. You say something and their pupils go doink, you better start backpedaling real fast or fix whatever just came out of your mouth. All right? You can't hide that. Body orientations, head tilts, protruding lower lips, all indicators of attraction. Okay? Different stages of attraction. But there's bigger pictures, there's bigger signs that we can start to look for. And this is after we've initiated actually approaching. But one of the things I want, we got to get playful. We got to realize that when, and you can take this to the bank, okay? When a woman does not want your attention, she will find a way to avoid it. Period. Ladies have the Oedipus problem. They can't stop having attention from people they don't want. Because largely the cues you ladies were taught don't attract the kind of men you want. Okay? So both sides are dealing with some interesting issues. But if we put ourselves in the other gender's shoes for just a moment, we can begin to build ways to cross that divide. I can't do it in a 2-hour lecture. I can't do it in a 2-hour workshop. But I can begin to make you aware. I can give you opportunities. I'm going to take you as far as I can tonight in the time that we have. I'll show you where to go for more. To that extent, we're going to take a 7-minute break so everybody can use the restroom, drink lots of coffee, eat lots of chocolate. But a couple of things. I have a free gift tonight for anybody that, I didn't give you my pedigree, so one of the things I need you to understand is we're going to talk about identity tonight. We're going to talk about the 7 stages of attraction and how to recognize it, because that's the biggest stumbling block I see. But my normal rates, I deal with everything from how to lose weight, which is not a big draw in my clinic, but I deal with everything from OCDs, depression, trauma, success and persuasion coaching. My specialty in the clinic is in Solana Beach is dealing with physiological illness that has as its root repressed emotion. I don't get weird things like smoke cessation and weight loss. I get all the really cool stuff like hysterical paralysis. And I have a few people who've been in here who've actually been through some of my very, very rapid change processes. And you can talk to John, or you can talk to, what's her name, Cynthia over there, and a few other people. But everybody here tonight, as my gift to you for coming out tonight, for being in this very hot room, God, give you guys a big round of applause for coming out here tonight, because I'm grateful for all of you. Every one of you tonight gets a free 30-minute consultation with me. Maybe you just want to talk and pick my brain for 30 minutes. Maybe you have some stuff that you think I could help you with. Okay, I've helped everything from Asperger's to social phobias to rape trauma, PTSD, and all points in between. If you got something that's blocking you, something that's holding you back, I can probably help you. I don't promise to fix your problem, but I do promise to find out if the possibility exists that what I do is a fit for you. So everybody gets a free 30-minute consultation. All you got to do is see Candy, my lovely office manager, and my daughter Tracy, who's hiding somewhere, and they will get you scheduled, because we're pretty booked, but they will get you on the schedule. There is no obligation. It's my gift as my way of saying thank you for coming out. We also have a 3-day workshop, which I'll talk about later, on going into the full system of attraction, relating, and mating that I'm pulling bits and pieces from. Cynthia has been through it. I don't see anybody else here that was through it. Did you come to Real World Romance, Jaime, or did you just come to the body language stuff?
Body language.
Body language, okay. So there's a few people who've been to some of my workshops. Feel free to pick their brains. Let's take a 7-minute break. We'll come back. I'm going to get into the 7 stages.